welcome to another episode of Under SF Inspire. I'm Tina Nguyen. Thank you for tuning in today.
And I'm your other host, Tyler McKinney. This week we have a fascinating show in store for all of you. The organization we chose to highlight this week takes a unique approach at providing Bay Area youth with political knowledge. They provide them with the skills to participate in our country's democracy.
In today's episode, we're going on campus to ask students questions about the current political climate.
The organization's representative will be joining us a little bit later.
And we also have a very special in-studio performance from a local artist. You will not want to miss a beat, so stay tuned. Tyler, there's no denying the shift in presidential power and the drastic change it has brought to society.
That shift is deeply felt here in the Bay Area. So many rallies and protests and gatherings have taken place since Election Day.
The other people of this community are passionate about vocalizing their views and opinions surrounding this change.
Living in such an open and diverse region, we're able to see a variety of perspectives.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Bay Area is a special place we all call home. There's so many different experiences that everyone has out here.
Our generation seems to have a lot of uncertainty and distrust in the political process. We're looking for rapid change.
This trend is directly shown in the lowering political participation amongst young people ages 18 to 30. You know, during the 2014 midterm elections, only 20% of this demographic voted. That's the lowest youth turnout on record.
And more recently, in the 2016 presidential election, only about 19% of that demographic was a part of the electorate vote, which is remarkably low.
This lack of votes from the younger generation has been spiraling downwards for years, creating an unsound government.
Democracy is rooted in its population's participation, and the true results won't reveal themselves unless us, as the younger generation, participates.
Wow, it's hard. You know, when the votes and voices aren't conveyed to the decision makers, they can't exactly understand what the public's wants and needs are.
Everyone can and should voice their political opinions to be a part of the overall conversation. It's really necessary to instill change.
Very well put, Tyler. We made our way onto San Francisco State to see what students feel about the current political climate.
Take a look.
How do you feel about the current political climate?
Well, I don't feel good about it. Very concerned for our future, for our value system, and specifically among students, among young people, among, I don't know, creating like bridges between people.
I think the current political climate is very chaotic right now, and I think that there's lots of arguments and it needs to be stopped.
Pretty discouraged and disappointed, really. I mean, I feel like it's very negative on both sides, and so it's hard to really feel, I don't know, like I want to be a part of it, because it's like, wow, everyone's just so combative.
Do you think it is important to be politically educated?
I do, but I think also if you don't have the tools and support to be able to find that, like, not everyone knows where to look for certain information, and we all know, like, you can't always trust like the basic major news sources, like those are really biased. So like trying to find like, you know, articles and information to get a more well-rounded perspective, it's kind of hard, especially if you don't know exactly what you're looking for.
I think it's extremely important, because, you know, this is what's dictating how, you know, huge impacts on everybody's life, and if you're not educated, then, you know, you're easily manipulated or taken advantage of. And so, if, you know, that applies to any topic, but politics has a huge impact, so it's really important because it can have, you know, dire repercussions.
Oh yeah, it's extremely important. I mean, you can't have an opinion about the current climate of the world if you're not properly educated. And I think that's the problem that we're running into, is people are having these opinions that they don't really understand fully.
So I think it's important because it's the only way we interact with each other. So we have to become, like, not masters, but we have to become very adept at understanding each other and understanding how this society runs and how it can run in the future, and, you know, what's the best ways it can run.
Wow, what an interesting and well-spoken bunch. The late night crowd really has a lot to say. We should stick around more often.
We definitely should. It really showed that people are genuinely discouraged with not only the current political climate, but also the mass effect it can have in society.
Brogan was really able to name a variety of people in politics who are women. I was actually pretty shocked and impressed.
I loved my conversation with Mashalina. She's very passionate and knowledgeable about being so inclusionary of all ethnicities and backgrounds.
I feel really blessed to be on a college campus filled with so many outspoken people. I get a sense that they really want the best for the United States, and it makes me very happy.
It makes me happy too, Tyler. You know, as young people, we're passionate and really want to make a difference in this world. With so many distractions going on, it can be kind of hard to focus on the political process.
Yeah, it's more than clear that our generation is extremely comfortable speaking their minds on social media, but clearly not everyone is using their voice when it comes to votes, and that's what's most important.
Well, that is exactly what Generation Citizen is setting out to change.
Stay right there. We're going to meet a few women who play a vital role in the organization.
And later, we have a conversation with the representative.
So don't forget about our very special performance, and don't touch that remote.
We will be right back after this quick commercial break.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
What's up? What's happening today? Let's do those pearly whites, man. Yeah. Okay, boys, check it out. Stand up, do my terrorists, don't compare us. Go.
Ooh, cute.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
Hey girl, what's the sound? What's the name? What's good? What's up?
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Sir, go and step out of the vehicle for me.
Yes, sir. See ya, buddy. Today, Sean's got a hearing. We'll see how it goes. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. Talk with your doctor to create a treatment plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's smoking!
It looks as if smoking is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome back to Under SF Inspire. In case you missed anything, here's a little recap.
During our last segment, we went straight to San Francisco State to talk to students about their opinions concerning the political climate. We also got to hear their thoughts on the lack of women visibility.
And Tina and I had a quick discussion about some personal viewpoints of ours.
So now it's time for us to introduce this amazing organization we are featuring today.
Yes, Generation Citizen is a nonprofit organization located here in San Francisco that works with the youth across the Bay Area and beyond.
They are devoted and driven to shifting the cycle of young people turning away from the political process.
Their democracy coaches get really involved. They visit high schools and middle schools, and they teach action civics to the youngest generation.
Their formula for success is educating through the youth. It's a unique way to get students involved and make sure that they allow them to form their own opinions.
And the formula really is working. Generation Citizen has served over 30,000 students since its beginnings as a nonprofit in 2010.
They also have a 3-year strategic plan in effect. By the end of it, their goal is to triple the number of students who receive Action Civics education.
This number would increase from 10,000 to 30,000 students each year by the year 2020.
Let's take a deeper look into exactly how Generation Citizen is working to reach this amazing goal. We will get a first-hand perspective from the Senior Program Associate and a Democracy Coach here in the Bay Area.
The Bay Area site has relationships and chapters on several college campuses in the Bay Area. So UC Berkeley, San Francisco State, University of San Francisco, St. Mary's College, and Mills College. I think I like the unique perspective of the unique approach to action civics through student-centered perspective. Instead of us going into classrooms and prescribing issues that students should take on, we instead empower them to take charge and decide for themselves what's important. That's what drew me to Generation Citizen, is it empowers youth, particularly those from marginalized communities, to get involved at an early age and to think about the things happening around them, but also to think about like the unique strengths and assets in their community and how they can use those as tools to be leaders of change. Being well informed is the first step, but you kind of have to think from there, okay, well, once I know about this issue, what can I actually do about it? And so that doesn't necessarily mean making a big change. I think with a lot of Generation Citizen, we're all about tangible, localized solutions to our issues. And so I think that's something that we hope to spread, is that people think about what everyday tangible things can they do to create change. A lot of what's happening right now is encouraging people to not engage politically. I think people are feeling a little demotivated, and so I think that kind of leads to a vicious cycle where there's a lack of civic engagement, and then people don't participate in the government, therefore the government doesn't respond to their needs and provide services for populations. And so I think it's more important now than ever to get everyone engaged to break that cycle. I think definitely one downside to being well informed about what's going on in the world is it can be really disheartening. Like, we're seeing all these terrible things happen and we're realizing that we live in a world where there's a lot of corruption and a lot of inequality. But alternatively, I think that empowers us. I think just knowing what's going on in the world is enough of a first step towards taking action. I also really like the unique use of college student volunteers in the classroom. It provides a kind of near-to-peer learning experience for students. It encourages like a college-going culture in the classroom. And it's also our way to engage college students who either already are engaged with politics and education and are interested in that, or who for themselves want to learn about that kind of thing.
Growing up, I really didn't know anything about politics or how voting works, so I think it would have prepared me to be a better actively engaged citizen. As a democracy coach, I do feel that I'm a role model for the students that I'm teaching. Not only are they learning from me, but I'm learning from them as well. Not only are they educating the students on action civics, but they are providing them a space and a platform for them to participate and do their own research in action civics and our political system. Yeah, not only learning, but they're learning through experience. It's important to share this education and knowledge because it is not always taught in school. Not everyone is granted with a Generation Citizen class or just in the everyday curriculum. And then I know for myself it wasn't taught in my home. So if I'm not learning it at school, not learning it in the home, I think it's important for our peers to educate each other. And we will all come together again for Civics Day, which is the day where the students will present their projects and what they've been doing over the semester. The advantages to being politically educated is that you are able to make your own decisions based on the knowledge that you have learned. So you're not instructed, but you're informed and empowered. From the first couple classes, I can get a sense of their distrust for the system. So I hope that us educating them more they can understand that they have power in the system and that power is not just exerted onto them. I believe in the work and the mission behind the organization.
Wow, that was really amazing to see some background on some of these ladies. You can really see the passion they have for the organization.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This organization has a great philosophy, setting a foundation for success. They bring people on their team that are dedicated to furthering this foundation.
And after seeing this, I have no doubt that they'll reach their goal as far as reaching more students.
The team was at the SFSU chapter meeting. They were able to capture a super cool 360 video while the democracy coaches were going through their typical routine.
Click the link down below to see it for yourself.
Notice a coach in particular leading the discussion. Her name is Beth, and we have her in studio. Let's bring her out.
So I have Beth here from Generation Citizen. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, of course. So let's just start off with what were your duties when you were working with Generation Citizen? Because I know you're no longer, well, your duties are different now.
They're different, yeah.
They're different. So what were you doing when you first started Generation Citizen?
So, yeah, when I was a democracy coach, which is the student volunteer role that actually goes into middle school and high school classrooms and teaches, I was assigned a classroom at Abraham Lincoln High School in the Sunset, which is nice because I live in the Sunset, so I just took a bus over.
Not too far.
And yeah, I just went for it. The class was at 8 a.m. And so me and two other democracy coaches, one of them went to USF, one of them actually happened to be my roommate that I share a room with. We basically just facilitated lessons for them once a week about action civics and just creating a project around a community issue that they all decided on, you know, and just taught them once a week. And pretty much just guided them. You have the whole curriculum, so it's not like I had to come up with a lesson plan. That was all ready for me. We just kind of went over it and then went in and facilitated those lessons.
And how is it different from what you're doing now?
Yeah, so now, since I've done the whole democracy coach thing, I had the option to do that again, but I actually ended up kind of being promoted to the chapter director at SFSU. So I lead the meetings once a week at state, and we all meet, and I just go over where everybody is with their classes, any concerns, and we do little workshops to kind of help them practice facilitating the lessons for the next week.
So you're more of the leader now.
Yeah, I'm more of the leader.
Everybody loves to be a leader.
I know.
And you mentioned action civics. What is that exactly?
So action civics is just basically learning how to take action in your communities through local government. So just kind of ways of getting involved in your city politics beyond voting.
Yeah.
Because there's so much more that you can do. So a lot of it is advocating for bills. Another aspect of the Generation Citizen model is like creating youth spaces where there otherwise weren't one. So my chapter director last year, actually, her class's project was to create a youth kind of conference group within the police department. So it was like this way for I think pretty much middle schoolers to have a voice and like attend these meetings once a week and like tell them just their feedback and how they feel, and it just created a dialogue where there otherwise wasn't one.
Yeah, which is important because they have something to say also, even being young, you know.
Yeah.
What enticed you? Like, what caused you to get involved in Generation Citizen?
So I actually want to be a teacher, and it's usually very difficult to get field experience with teaching when you're in undergrad especially.
Yeah.
So Generation Citizen was a really good way for me to practice teaching in front of a class and to get that experience, while also I enjoy politics, you know, and I always want to do more for my community and just take part in activism. So this was a way to combine like what I want to do with another thing that I also want to do.
Yeah, it's a perfect combination of the two.
Mhm.
That's what it sounds like. Why is it important for students or young people to get involved in politics at a young age, would you say?
Yeah, so when you're an adult and you've just gone through your whole high school kind of, I don't even want to call it civics education, because you more so just learn about the government, you know? You don't really learn about how to participate and engage in your local government, which is where a lot of change happens. So that process can be really just not familiar to you. You don't even know where to start.
Right.
So what Generation Citizen does is it gives kids the knowledge and like the understanding of their civic government, so that when they do want to make a change when they're adults in their adult lives, they've already done it, you know, they already know what to do and who to reach out to, you know, like the targets, and yeah, they just know how to go about it.
Yeah, it sounds extremely important. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I hope you guys learned a lot too. Stay tuned. When we come back, there will be a live studio performance. You don't want to miss it.
Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
huge thank you to the Rayettes from SF State and Generation Citizen.
And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, San Francisco.